Hello everybody, this is Kelly with Sewful Creations. Today's tutorial is going to be on the JeroniMoney Wallet by KC Original. I love making wallets and I haven't made one in quite a while because I haven't been inspired to make one. But now, as you can see, I've been inspired. I've made 3 so far and I'm going to make some more. So the JeroniMoney Wallet, it goes along with her Geronimo line. You know, she started out with the Geronimo bag and then she had the Geronimo. You saw my video on the Geronimo. If you haven't, check it out. And then this one is the wallet that is going to complete the set. So you have to get this pattern if you already have the others. So let me tell you about this wallet. So let's look at, I'll just grab one here. So this is the one you're going to see me make today in today's tutorial. So it has this little tab, this little snap tab here, and it has another snap on the other side. So it's very secure. And when you open up the flap here, look at that. Look at the slim design of this wallet. There's 14 card slots inside this wallet, plus a slip pocket for your bills and receipts. And yet, it's slim. You're going to see in the video when I fill this wallet up that it still keeps it slim. I mean, it's still very slim and not too bulky. Okay. And then on the back, there's a zipper pocket. So you have enough room, you know, to put some little coins in there or whatever. Maybe a little lip balm or something that you want to slide in there. But this is just the cutest little wallet that you can carry in your bag, or you can just carry it. Just take it by itself. You don't need anything else with this. So like I said, I made 3. You can just mix and match at the way you want. Another good feature about this wallet is that there's so many different options that you can switch up inside. So I showed you that I have the 14 card slots. I did that same thing on all 3 of these because I love card slots. I carry so many cards with 7 because I have lots of different cards for them. So I need a lot of different card slots. But this is not the only option. You have an option to have a pocket for a checkbook. You can leave off a section of card slots and you can have just a little slip pocket for one card, or you can add an ID card on there, pocket on there. So you don't need to do it this way. The pattern gives you several different options to choose from to customize this wallet the way you want it or the way your customer wants it. But I love it. You're going to love it. Stay tuned. I'm getting ready to show you how to make the JeroniMoney Wallet by KC Original. Thank you for watching. All right, so we're going to get started making our JeroniMoney by KC Original. So the first thing you're going to need is your exterior panel. Okay, so I've already prepared my exterior panel. I cut it from this piece of black leather. I have the marks here for my snap placement. And then on the back, there's going to be some lines that you need to draw on the back for placing your stabilizer. So I've already done that. I'm using Decaville Heavy for my stabilizer, and I've already fused it in place. You can either use Decaville Heavy, you can use Craft Tex, or you can use Salpa. So I just used what I had on hand, which was the Decaville Heavy. So use the pattern to mark those placement lines. And then you also going to need that center line as well, because this piece, this is the base of the wallet, so it's going to be folded. So anyway, so we're going to back this piece with either some pigskin or a very thin vinyl. Okay, so I'm using this vinyl, I mean, not vinyl. I'm used to working with vinyl, excuse me. Very thin leather. So I'm using this piece of leather that I already had, and it's pretty thin, and I think it'll work well. It's not pigskin, but it is very thin. So you notice it's not cut to size. Because what we're going to do is we're going to apply glue. So I'm going to apply glue over the surface here, and then I'm going to place my exterior piece on top, and we're going to get these two glued together. So the glue I'm going to be using is this Aquilum 315, and I got mine from Amazon, and this is a water-based adhesive. It doesn't have much odor. It's not very toxic smelling, you know, like some of the adhesives. So this one I'm going to spread a thin layer over this piece of leather. And then I'm also going to do spread some on the back of this one as well. And I'm going to let it sit for a few minutes, and then I'll put those together, and then we're going to come back. So I'm going to go ahead and do that off camera, and then I'll come back and I'll show you when I'm getting ready to put the two pieces together. Alrighty, so I've applied the glue, and it's been sitting for a few minutes. So, before I applied the glue, I punched the holes for my snaps. So now we're just going to lay this piece right on top of this one where we have the glue. So let me bring this over. I'm gonna lay that down. Oops, trying to lay it down straight. Okay. All right, so we get that pressed down. Okay. Any little glue I got on there, it just rubs right off. Got a little bit. Okay, so we're just going to, and now I'm going to use my roller here. And we're just going to make sure it's nice and smooth and adhering very well. All right. Okay. All right, so now, so once we have that together, like that, it should look like this. This is going to be the back side. Then we're going to just trim. We're going to trim off the rest of that. So I'm going to trim off that brown leather. I'm going to use my rotary cutter that I think I left on my cutting table. So Jasmine will grab that for me. So I'm going to use my rotary cutter. Now you can use your ruler, your rotary cutter. I work better just freehanding it without the ruler. So I'm just going to follow the edge here and try to stay as straight as I can. And I'm just going to trim this off. Just like that. So just get my blade right up against there. And I just follow the edge here. Okay. And just do all four sides. And then the last side. Okay. Well, there we go. Okay, so this is what we should have now. So we have this on the back. This is the front side. We have our holes punched for our snaps. So now we need to just take our hole punch and we're going to punch the holes all the way through. So now we're punching through all layers here. Okay, so now that we have our holes punched, so now we can install our snaps. So I'm going to grab everything I need for my snaps. Let me make sure I have everything here Okay. Hold on, one more. I just need one more tool here. Okay. So I'm going to be using just this little manual, these manual tools to install my snap. And I actually need this piece because I'm installing the male portion of my snap. So let me get those pieces out. So, and I'll show you what they look like. Okay. I just have a case. I have this little case of snaps from Amazon. It has gold and antique brass, gunmetal, and silver snaps. And they work really well. So for your male snaps, you'll need 2 pieces. So one has a longer post like this. Okay. If you can see that. And then you have one with a shorter post like this. So the shorter one goes on top of the longer one to make the male portion of the snap. So we're going to insert the longer the one with the longer post. We're going to insert that from the back, okay, up through the front. Make sure it's pushed in well. Okay, we'll do that for both. Get those pushed in. Got a little glue on my finger. Okay, and then we'll put the cap right on top, just like that. And then we're going to take this. So there's a side with a little nipple on it, and we're going to fit that. So there's a hole in the bottom of this. That nipple fits right in that hole, and we just use that. So you might have another tool to install yours. Just follow the instructions on whatever snaps you use. Mine, I just have these hand tools. And then this has a little hollow opening that goes right over the little nipple on the snap. And then I just take my hammer. So I grab my hammer here. And I just give it a couple of whacks. Just a couple of solid whacks with the hammer. So just 1 and then 2. That's all it takes. And it's set. Okay. So I'll do the same thing on this side. Okay. Put that over there. And then 1, 2. Okay. Okay, so you don't have to get too carried away. Okay, so they're both set really well. So now we have this part finished. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'll get the other pieces ready for the next step. Right, so now I'm back with the next step. We're going to be doing our flap, our back pocket, which is on our flap piece, and we need our flap back piece. So I'm using this this little, I guess this would be like a leopard print leather, and this is my flap. I have on the back, I put some Decaville Light because this is a very thin leather, and I have marked my placement for my zipper. And I have the flap back. So this piece is going to get glued onto the back here, so we don't see that on the wallet when it's done. And then you're going to need your zipper tape. The pattern suggests number 3 zipper. I'm using a number 5. It works fine. Just make sure that your zipper fits nicely in your zipper window. It's not too wide because not all zipper tape is the same, but this one is fine. I have my zipper pull attached. I've applied some glue on each end like suggested, so I don't have any problems with my zipper opening when I'm installing it. I have some 1/8 inch double-sided tape. I have my logo, and I have marked my placement on my flap. So I have my rivet placement and my snap placement, and I also have my marks for my logo. And you can get all of that from the pattern piece. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get ready to cut open the window for the zipper. So what I suggest is one of these little dies, cutting dies. It comes in a set that you can get from Amazon. I'll link where I got mine in the description. But this one fits perfectly in this zipper window. It fits the shape perfectly. So I'm going to be using this just on each end to get it started. So I'll place that right on the end and get it right there lined up with the sides. And then once I have it in place, I'm going to use my hammer to cut this open. So it's a little more banging than what I did on the snaps. So I'm not going to do that on camera. I'm going to go ahead, but I wanted you to know what I was doing. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to whack it a few times with the hammer, get both of these ends opened up. Then I'll come right back and show you how I cut the rest of the window open. All right, so I have those ends cut. As you can see, it cuts them nice. So I'm going to now take my ruler and my rotary cutter, and I'm just going to line that up, the edge there, making sure it's nice and straight. And we're going to cut the straight edge here, right across, okay? So if I missed a little on this side, just turn it around here. Okay. And then do the same thing on this side. So just make sure you get it lined up properly. Okay. And you have a nicely cut zipper window. One of the testers, she mentioned how this would make a nice little ribbon to add to your zipper pull. If you have one of those zipper pulls with the D-ring attached, and you can put this on there and put a little rivet in there, and it matches your leather. So I don't have that type of zipper pull, but that is a cute little idea, and no waste, right? So that's something to think about. All right, so now we have, like I said, we have our window cut. Now we have to make a decision here on if we're going to leave these edges just the way they are, if we're going to leave it raw like this, if we're going to edge paint, or if we're going to use some Tokonole burnishing gum to finish this off. I think mine is okay. I'm going to leave it. I'm going to just leave it raw. Right here. So I'm just ready to go ahead and get my zipper installed. So let me turn this over, and now we're going to need our 1/8 inch double-sided tape, and we're going to place a strip about 1/4 inch above and below the window. Get in place. Okay. So now once we have our, excuse me, our tape. Okay, so let's get our pocket situated correctly. Hold on 1 second. Let me just double check something here. Okay, so we want, remember, this gets folded over, and this we'll be looking at our pocket from the back this way. So if you want your zipper pulled to close to the left, you keep that in mind, and you're going to want to lay your zipper in that way. If you like yours closing to the right, then you turn it the other way. So I want mine to close to the left. So I want to make sure that my zipper is being installed this way. So when I turn it over, looking at it from the curved end, my zipper pull is going to the right. Okay. If I flip it over this way, then it will be turned to the left, of course. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to remove the paper from one side on the double-sided tape. I'm going to make sure my zipper pull is in the zipper window. Okay. And I'm going to start centering my zipper, okay, in that window. So I'm not pressing it down just yet. I want to just make sure that I get it where I want it. So I'm going to go flip it over and look from the front. Okay, and it's not lined up good, so I just need to just adjust it a little bit. Make sure it's nice and straight on each end. Okay. And then once I see that it's where I want it, then I can press down, secure the tape, and then I'll remove the other side. And I could just smooth that down. Okay. And that's what my zipper's looking like. Okay. So now we're going to top stitch around the zipper window. Okay. So 1/8 inch seam allowance. I have one there. Oh, and by the way, the glue that I used on the end of my zipper was just some Fabri-Tac glue. Okay, so I just put a little glob on the end of each zipper. I mean, on the ends of my zipper tape. Okay, that'll keep my zipper from pulling apart. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to leave long tails to pull to the back. And I'll get this sewn on. Move your zipper pull out of the way. Okay, and then as I start to go around this curve, I'm just going to start to go slowly and hand cranking it. So I say nice and neat around the curves. Okay. And then now I can straighten back up and go across. Okay. Leave it off just a little bit there. I pull my tail to the back. And at this point, if you need to switch to your zipper foot, then you may do that. If y'all know me, I try not to use it too often. Okay. So again, I'm going around this curve. And now I'm getting back to where I started. Okay. Here we go. All right. So now I'm just going to pull the ends to the back. What did I do with that? Oh. Me and that stiletto, we just don't like to see eye to eye. All right, and so I'm just going to I'm going to tie these off. Okay, get them all, well, not like that though. Let's do that again, since I missed a piece. Get these tied off. Okay. I'm just going to cut that. Give it a little burn with my lighter. Okay. And all right, so now our zipper is installed. Looks good. Okay, so now we're going to turn this back over. Well, before we do that, this is where you want to go ahead and get your label. Get your label installed now. Okay, so let me go ahead and get my holes, my slits cut from my zipper. Just use this here. I mean, for my zipper, for my logo. I'm talking about my zipper. Okay. Okay, so I already had it marked out. And remember, this is it's going to be this way. So make sure you put your logo on the right way so it's not upside down. Okay, and I'm going to get that on. Make sure that's on. And I'll get my washer on here. And I'm going to fold those prongs in. Okay. Make sure it's straight. Okay. So it'll look like that. And then I will put some tape. And Jasmine found me some duct tape. So I'm back in duct tape business. Let's hope the boys don't get to it again. Okay, so I'm just going to put a piece there. Okay, so now I have my logo on. Now we can turn this over. We're going to lay our flat back piece down, and we're going to line it up. Okay, matching all the edges. And then you see we have these angles cut out here, right? So when we lay this here and we see those angles cut out, we're going to draw a line from the straight edge across. So we're just kind of putting a line there. So we know we're not going to glue past this point, because we're going to glue these pieces together, but we don't want to glue past that point and onto our zipper. So that's going to be the line where we stop. So I'll go ahead and crease the line here across so you can see. It kind of lines up with our stitching. Stop moving. Okay. My logo's getting in the way. So I want you to see with the chalk, you can see that. So where I've marked here, we're not going to glue past that point. So we're going to glue from that point down, okay? And then we're going to apply glue to this whole piece, and we're going to glue that on, okay? We're going to glue these two pieces together. So like I did before, I'm going to go off camera. I'm going to get it all glued because it has to sit for a few minutes before I can put it together. Then I'll come back and I'll show you what it's looking like and what we're going to do next. So I'll be back. All right, so the glue has been setting for a few minutes. One thing I wanted to mention is this edge here on your flap back, about half an inch down from this edge here. If your leather is thicker than about 3 ounces, then you may want to skive that edge, because this flap gets folded over, so it makes it a lot easier without too much bulk. But my leather's pretty thin, so I did not need to skive. So just wanted to mention that. So now we could go ahead and we could put these pieces together. So again, we're going to match up these edges down here at the bottom. And let's get that matched up. Everything is lined up. Okay. All right. So then now I have that. So it's there. It's on the back. Everything is matched up. Rubbing some of this little glue off. Try to be neat, but that's a good thing about that glue too, is that it does just rub off pretty easily once it dries, if it gets on the surface. Okay, so okay, now we can use our roller again to smooth it out. So just smooth it, get it all smoothed out. Just doing it. Okay, we do have a little hump there from our logo, but that's okay. Okay. All right. So now, again, we have to decide, are we going to leave these edges raw? Do we need Tokonole, or are we going to paint them? So I have decided, since the rest of my wallet is going to be black, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to edge paint. I'm going to edge paint the black. So I'm going to take care of that, and then I'll be back. And then we're going to get ready to get this sewn onto our exterior panel. So let me just go ahead and edge coat that, let it dry, and then I'll be back. So my edge coat is dry, so we're ready to go ahead and get the flap sewn onto the exterior panel. So I have already marked the lines for placing the flap. I don't know if you can see, but we have lines on the side and then one across here. So that's where we're going to set. Our flap is going to be lined up within this little rectangle here. Okay, no, never mind these little corners. That's just, it's just to make sure that we get it down where it should be, and then the sides lined up. So this is where we're going to sew it on. I want to mention too that decide what you want to do with this top edge of the exterior panel, if you're going to leave it raw or if you're going to finish it off with Tokonole or edge paint. I added some Tokonole onto this top edge here, and I just rubbed it on with my finger and then used a cotton cloth to kind of burnish this edge, so it's smoother now than it was. So now we're going to take our flap and we're going to add some 1/8 inch double-sided tape. So right across the edge of the flap back, we're going to put a piece of the double-sided tape. So right along that edge. Okay. So it's going to look, so you're going to have a piece along that edge. And then we're going to put some around this bottom edge here. So just go around the edge. Okay. Hey, so it should look like this. So now once we have our double-sided tape on, then we're going to go ahead and we're going to get it placed onto our exterior panel here. So we can go ahead and remove the backing from the double-sided tape. Okay, and we're going to make sure this edge is lined up with this straight edge here and that the sides are lined up with the side lines that we drew. So just start here, getting it placed and making sure this side is straight. And this one should be as well, and it is. Okay, so that fits there. Okay, and I just use chalk so I can just rub off these little corners here. Okay, so now once we have that secured on, now we're going to go ahead and we're going to get this top stitch. So we're going to start here. We're going to start right here. We're going to start a little bit down from the edge of the exterior panel. So just a little bit, maybe a 1/4 inch down. We're going to leave long tails and we're going to sew around, go around the curve, and then we're going to come up all the way up onto the flap. And we're going to sew all the way across down this diagonal, and we're going to end up back where we started, and we're going to leave long tails, and we're going to pull those to the back and tie them off. Okay, so that's what I'm getting ready to do. Already liking how this is looking. So let's get started. Make sure they can see me well, Jazzy, so we can get this. Okay, so 1/8 of an inch seam allowance, long tails. Just getting my needle in position here. Wrapping it in. Okay. So take your time going around the curves. I just go one stitch at a time around the curves. You want it nice and neat. Okay. Okay, back to hand cranking around the curves. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna keep going. Coming up onto my flap. Now I'm going to pivot, go across. Okay. I'm going to get ready to pull my tails. I'm pulling my tails up through between the flap and the exterior panel. Okay. To tie them off. Okay. Now I'm going to go across here. now we're going to go back where we started. Okay. And we're going to pull those tails through as well. Okay, so first I'm going to pull it through, and then I'm going to feed it through, and I'm going to pull it up through between the flap and the exterior panel where these other two are exiting. Okay, and then I'm going to tie those off. So I'm just going to take my needle, and I'm going to get those in there. Okay. And I'm just coming right up through, right between the flap and the exterior. There you go. Alrighty. So now we have that top stitch. You see where my threads are. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to tie those off, and then I'll come back and we'll get ready to install our we'll do our flap tab, and then get our snaps, the rest of our snaps put on. So I'll be back. All right, so now we have to make another choice. So remember those options that I talked about at the beginning for the inside of the wallet. So if you're going to use option A on the right side, this is the right side closest to the flap, then you're going to need, you're not going to top stitch this edge here. But if you chose options B or C, then we need to go ahead and top stitch this edge. I chose option C because I'm putting the card slot with the slip pocket on this side. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to top stitch. So where the stitching is over here, I'm going to start at this stitching and go 1/8 inch across, and I'm going to stop at this stitching, and I'll leave some long tails and pull them back. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then we're going to get our tab done and installed. So again, it all depends on what options you chose for the inside of your wallet. And I love that you can mix and match these different options depending on, you know, what your needs are. Me, I like to have a lot of card slots. I need a lot of card slots. So I'm just stitching across, and we are stitching from the inside. So we want to make sure, you know, that we stay as straight as possible. Bobbin thread is good. Okay, and I'm stopping right there. I'm going to pull those tails. Okay, and so you will have a row of stitches right across here, right above the zipper pocket. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to tie these off real quick. Oops. Just tied. Okay, get that tied off. Okay. And now we can get our tab done. So what I've done is I've taken my leather, I've cut out my tab on one piece of leather, and then I glued it down onto this piece. Okay, so I can have a double, it's going to be double-sided, right? I already have my marks placed for my rivet and my snap. So now that I have it glued down, I just need to trim this, trim the extra away. So I'm going to just use my scissors for that. So I'm just going around following the edge and being very neat and careful. Okay. And you can choose your way. If whatever way you choose to get this as neat as you can. You might not like this way. You might want to glue two pieces of leather together and then cut them out. So whatever your choice is, just whatever works for you. Okay, I find that I'm a little bit neater doing it this way. Okay, so, okay, and don't worry, you know, when we make things ourselves, it's going, nothing's 100% perfect. It's just all in what you're okay with for yourself. Please yourself. Whatever your standards are, that should be okay. Okay, so that's good for me. I'm going to show you. So I have my tab here, okay? And now I need to finish this off because it's looking a little rough around the edges. So I will put some Toconol. I sure hope I'm saying that correctly. If I'm not, please somebody correct me. But I'm just going to rub some on these edges here and get these edges smoothed out. Just get that on. And it smooths them right out. And just rub it in. First, rub it in with your fingers. And you'll see it start to smooth. Okay. Okay. Don't need that much. Okay. And I'm just going to take this cotton cloth and just rub it. Smooth it. And you'll kind of see it like get a little shiny looking as you rub it in. Okay. Okay, so that's better. I won't fuss with it too much on camera. But now that I have that, now I can just top stitch around. So I'm just going to top stitch 1/8 of an inch. Grab that thread and just go around. So we have this placement that's closer to the edge is for the rivet. This placement here is for the snap. So I'm going to start closer up here to the rivet because that part, once it's attached to the flap, you won't see that I pulled the tails to the back and secured them to the back there. Okay, if we do it down here, then you'll see that as you open and close your wallet. So we're going to start closest to the rivet placement. Okay, and just like I've done before, so I'm just going to walk around the curves. Okay. Whoops. Oh, trying to get away from me. Okay. I'm going to pull the tails to the back here. Okay. And continue. And then wrap it right back where I started. There we go. Okay. And now pull that one to the back. Okay. So now it's all top stitched. Excuse me. Sorry, I was getting over a little bug. The cough is the last thing to go. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to tie these off, and we're going to go ahead and get it installed. With our rivets, get our snaps, the rest of our snaps on. And then we're ready to start working on the inside of our JeroniMoney wallet. I love that name, JeroniMoney. She has the whole Geronimo line now. Okay. So let me go ahead and get these secured. Just burn that a little bit. Make sure they don't come loose later. Alrighty. Get a tab. Okay. So now I can go ahead, I can punch the holes in my tab. So again, this one closer to the stitches is for the rivet. And then this one down here is for the snap. Okay. And then we're going to also punch the holes in our flap. So I have those marks there. And we're going to punch the first one. That's for the rivet. And then over here is for the snap. Okay. So I'll grab my rivets and my snaps. So first I will get my rivet on. So I'm just using a regular 9mm rivet. So remember, the one closest to the top is for the rivet. So get that on and get this. And hopefully that's not too big. Okay. But I don't have one. I don't think I have one smaller, so it will do. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and set that. I'll get my rivet set here. Okay. Looking good. Now we can go ahead and we can do the other part of our snap, the female portion. So we're going to have the cap. So we have the cap, and then we have this part that goes into the cap where it snaps together. So we have two pieces. So this part, of course, goes on the outside. And then we just press this piece on, just like that. And then we're going to take this. Now, I had to add, because I had a little scrape on this metal piece that was causing, it was putting a little mark on my snaps. So I put a little cushion in there and I put some tape. So that's why mine looks like this. I just had to make it work. Okay. And so, so we're going to lay that on top. Now we're going to use the, where'd that piece go? Oh, here it is. So we're going to use this one, and it goes right into this little hole there, right inside the snap. I'm going to press that in place, get that down in place, just like that. Then again, we're going to use our hammer like we did before, and give it a couple of good whacks. Get it installed, and make sure it's nice and snug. And then we also want to test and make sure it snaps. Okay. If I have any problem, there we go. The first snap is always a little, it starts to loosen up after you snap it a couple of times. So as long as you hear that snap, you're good. Okay. So now we're going to do the next one. So this one goes here like that. And we'll get this one on, and we'll do the same thing. So get that right in the little hole right there, and then just and that should be good and snug. So now we can close that, make sure it snaps. Now we're starting to look like a wallet. That's looking good, right? Like the way that's looking. Woo! Okay. So let me put this stuff away. Okay. So now we're getting ready to do the inside of our wallet. And you had to be thinking about, like I said, what options you chose. For the left side of mine, so this again, so we have the left side. The left side, I've chosen the card slots, 7 card slots. So it's just going to be just straight card slots here. No pocket, no slip pocket or anything. Then over here, I've chosen the 7 card slots with a slip pocket. So I'll have up here on this edge, I'll have an opening to put bills or receipts or whatever in there. So that's what I'm using. You have another option where you could use, you could have just a single card slip pocket. There's an option for you to have a checkbook opening. So like I said, you can mix and match. If you don't need a whole lot of card slots, then don't use the ones with the card slots. So just decide what you need for your wallet and decide which side you're going to put them on, whether it's going to be on the left or the right. So like I said, over here, I'm using option A, and over here, I'm using option C. So without that, let me go grab what I need let's get started on these super easy card slots. Going to be the easiest card slots you ever made. Trust me. So I'll be right back. All right. So now, remember I said I'm using option A on the left side of my wallet. So this is option A with the 7 card slots, and they'll be in no pocket. Okay. So what I'm going to do, I already have the markings for the slots or the slits for my card slots. And then on the back, there's nothing on the back yet. I have pre-drawn my lines that we're going to use for folding our card slots. So before I get ready to cut out the card slots here, I want to show you what we'll be using. So this is Tyvek, and this material it's very thin but durable. And it's a no sew. Like, we don't need to sew. We don't have to top stitch below each card slot. We're going to just use double-sided tape. And once it's stuck, it's stuck. Okay, and this material is just like the material they use on those wristbands when you go to an event, and the little wristbands that they put on you that are almost impossible to get off. That's what this is. So I got mine from Joann's. They only had it in white, but I know that it does come in black as well. Next, if I would have had more time, I could have probably ordered some and got some in black. But I'm okay with the white. You really won't see it once the wallet is put together. So before we get ready to do that, let's just go ahead and get our card slots, to get these cut open for our card slots. So there's these little dots on each end. So we're going to punch a hole on each end there through those. So this will help us get our slots started. So I'm just punching a hole in each one of those ends. Okay. Okay, and then on this side as well. Okay, so now once we get those punched out, and let me just make sure that get all of it comes out. Okay. Right. So now we have all our holes punched. So now we need to cut these lines. So we just need to cut these lines. So you can use your ruler, your rotary blade. Again, I just go ahead and freehand it because it's just easier for me. So even with my shaky hand, I just find it easier for me. So I just get going and just go right across. And I don't worry if I'm not right at the end. I will go back with my scissors and snip to whatever I miss. So just get it going. If you're not comfortable doing it this way, don't do it this way. This is just what works for me. Okay, so 2 more. And then the last one. Okay, so now I'll take my scissors and just make sure that I cut all the way through to that little hole that I punched. So if it's not, it's usually just a little snip right at the end that I might have missed. Because I'd rather not go too far and cut past that little hole. So I kind of stop before. Okay, and the same thing on this side. And just get that snipped open. All right, so now once I have that done, now here comes the real easy part. So we have our slots cut open. Remember, I told you I drew some lines on the back, so you can get those measurements from the pattern. And now we're going to place some 1/4 inch double-sided tape. Okay, so I know it's too hard for you to see my lines here, but trust me, they're there. So I'm going to place a piece of double-sided tape. My card slots are up here at the top, so I'm at the bottom here. And I'm placing a piece of double-sided tape right above the first line here at the bottom. Okay. Now I'm going to start placing tape below each of the card slots. So right below each of these card slots. So there should be 7 of them. So we're going to have 7 pieces of double-sided tape. Now keep in mind, if you're not using Tyvek, if you're deciding to use something else for your card slot some other material, then you need to sew. You need to top stitch each card slot because this method only works for tie-back. You don't want to test it out and then have your card slots come apart, pull apart over time because you use some other material. It's only been tested with this tie-back. Okay. So now I have a piece of double-sided tape underneath all 7 of my card slots. Now I'm going to put another piece about a 1/2 inch above the last card slot. Okay, so now I have all of my double-sided tape in place. Now I can take my tie-back, okay, and I don't know that there's a right or wrong side. This side feels like a little more matte. This side feels a little more shiny. So I'm going to put that matte side. I want that matte side to be where my cards are. I just feel like that feels more like the right side to me. Okay, so now starting with the piece of double-sided tape that's right below that card slot right down here, we're going to pull that backing off. Okay, we want our tie back coming up this way toward the top, toward the card slots. We're going to center that and put it right on the edge of the double-sided tape. Okay. Get that right on the edge and really press that down. Okay. Now we're going to pull it back. Sorry about all the stuff coming off of my leather. We're going to pull that back pretty taut. Okay. And crease it and press that down. And then the piece of tape that's down here at the bottom, we're going to pull the backing off of that. And we're going to secure the tie back down onto that piece of double-sided tape. Okay, and smooth that out. Okay, just like that. So now we're going to fold it back again. And we're going to keep everything lined up. And then give it a good crease here. And then remove the next piece. And smooth that. Smooth that on. Now we have the next line here. And like I said, I know it's hard for you to see, but we've drawn these lines for a reason. So we're going to put a piece of double-sided tape right above the next line. Okay. And now it should be looking like this. Okay. So now we're going to bring this back. Like I said, give it a good press every time. Now we can remove the backing from this piece of double-sided tape. And we're going to press that down. Okay. Now fold it back up. Give it a good press. Remove the next piece here. So we're just going back and forth. Okay. Give it a good smooth press. Okay. Bring it down. Give it a good smooth. Okay. And now we're going to place another piece of double-sided tape right above the next line. Okay. Now, that's going to hold it in place down here. And And then we could go back. Remove the next piece. Smooth it in place. Fold it back. Okay. Now we're ready to add the next piece. So you'll be able to see these lines on the sides. So when you make your lines, you're going all the way across so you can see them on the sides. Okay. Now, and make sure whatever double-sided tape you use that it is a really strong one that will hold. This is from Wawak. It's their Hyper Stick double-sided tape. It's one of my favorites. It's very strong and it will hold. Okay, so now we're just going, we're continuing back and forth. Another piece of double-sided tape. So you see the pattern we're doing. Bring it back. And you see how thin it is. So no, your card slots will not be bulky. Okay, now we're ready to bring it back. Smooth it. Place our double-sided tape. Fold it back down. Whoop. Jazzy. Jazzy's not on Do Not Disturb.
It was an alarm.
Oh, it's an alarm. Where you going, Jazzy?
Seriously, to remind me to get on class.
Oh, but no class today. Okay. So now we're at the last. So one more piece of double-sided tape here. Okay. So make sure you can see those lines clearly. So you know where to place your tape. Okay. We're going to bring this back down. And we're just about done. Okay. Now we have our last piece of double-sided tape. We're going to remove that. We're going to fold up one last time and press it in place. Okay. I got a little crooked right there at the end, but I think it'll be okay. So, and then we'll just trim the extra off. Okay. And voila. Card slots are done. They're done. Okay. They're done. So we got, they're perfect. Just making sure you can get into each one with no problem. All right. So now that you finish option A, if that's what you chose, now you're going to go ahead and finish off these long sides here. If you're going to leave it raw, you can leave it raw. If you're going to edge paint, whatever. I'm just going to put a little Tokonol on each of these long sides to smooth them out. We don't have to worry about these edges just yet. But we're going to do these long sides. And then I'm going to get ready to, well, let me just, before I do that, let me show you. So this is option C that I've chosen for the right side of my wallet. Again, it has the 7 card slots just like these. on this side. And then it's going to be folded in half like this. Okay, and this side is going to be top stitched, and this is going to be the slip pocket for my bills, from paper bills, for receipts or whatever I want to put in there. So this one, I'm going to prepare the card slots just like I did on option A. I'm just going to do it on this half of this piece. If you notice, I have a piece of Decaville Light. I have a 3/8 inch wide piece fused onto the center, right at the center line on this side, because it's just going to give a little more stability for the slip pocket. You can use nylon tape as suggested in the pattern, but I didn't have any, so I'm using Decaville Light. And so when I come back, not only will I have finished off my edges on option A, I'm going to also go ahead and have my card slots done for option C, and then we'll get ready to start putting it together. Okay, so what I've done is I have glued I've added glue to these pieces here, and I want to show you what I did. So this is option A. I put glue around just on the outside, not on the card slots. So just on the leather on the outside. On this piece, option C, I've put glue everywhere except for, again, on the card slots. And I'm letting it dry really good before I bring this together, okay? And then on this piece, I've applied some glue. So on the side edges, I've done about 1/2 inch, but not in this center part, just on these parts here, where you can see where the stabilizer is. So don't put any on this part, because this part is not going to have anything glued to it. So I started here and I put about 1/2 inch of glue on each of these sides, and then a 1/4 inch on the bottom. Okay, so I'm just letting the glue, I'm letting that glue dry. Well, I've let it dry. It's been drying for a little while now. So I think it's okay. So I'm going to go ahead and add my option A, and that's going to get added to this left side here, okay? Excuse me. So I'm going to go ahead and get this in place. So I'm just lining up these edges, matching them up, okay? And just getting everything as even as possible over here, right? And at the bottom, and then in here, okay? And then I'm going to get those, the silver pin off later. Not worrying about it right now. So just making sure it's all lined up. Okay, so that's what that side is looking like. And again, we're going to just roll it, make sure that everything is looking good and smooth. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. So that's what that's looking like there. Okay. And then now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to bring these together, because I believe it's dry enough. And I'm going to bring these raw edges together. Okay. So get that matched up. Get all our raw edges there. Okay. Again, we're going to roll that smooth. Okay. Always manage to get a little glue on the outside. No matter how neat I try to be. Okay, so now, again, I'm going to finish this edge up. I'm going to put some Tokonole on this edge. The folded edge, I'm going to top stitch this folded edge because I'm going to leave a slip pocket. So I'm going to grab my ruler, my chalk here, and I'm going to measure 1/2 inch from each short side. So put a little mark there. And then over here as well. Okay. So we have a mark. And we're going to top stitch just within these marks. Okay, now don't go past those marks. Excuse me. And I'm going to leave long tails. Pull to the back. So I'm just top stitching my slip pocket. Thank you, Jazzy. Okay. All right. And so you should have your top stitching like that. And again, I'm just going to bring those tails to the back and tie them off. And then we're going to get ready to apply some more glue to get this one attached to the exterior. And we're just about done. It's a pretty quick wallet, not a whole lot of pieces, and it's so slim that I'm telling you, you're gonna want to make lots of these. Okay. All right. So now, like I said, I'm going to just clean up this little edge real quick with some Tokonole, just smoothing out this edge, just getting some of those little fuzzies off, just getting that done. Not too concerned with that. Just want to remove the little fuzzy edges. Okay. So just kind of remove. Okay, I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time here. Okay, just as long as it looks a little better than it was looking. Okay, so that's good enough. All right, so now we can go ahead and we can apply some glue to the back. So we just want, remember, it's going to go in, and we're going to have it go in like this. So we don't want to put any glue on the folded edge. We only want to put some glue on the sides, the short sides, and this bottom side. So about 1/2 inch in on the sides, and then about 1/4 inch on the bottom. So I'm just going to grab my glue. I'll get that going, get this on. It has to sit for a few minutes, and then I'll come back and we'll get it, excuse me, we'll get it all put together and get some final top stitching done. and then we're done with our wallet. So let me go ahead. I'll be back, but I want you to, I just see real quick what I'm doing. So I'm just applying a thin coat of the glue. So right on these short edges. Okay. And I got these little glue applicators from Tandy, and I'm just putting just a thin, you don't need a whole lot of this glue. A little goes a long way. As a matter of fact, I find the thinner you apply it, the better. Okay, because then it dries really fast and you don't have to do a lot of waiting. Okay, so just a real thin layer. Okay. So that's about it. So I'm going to let that sit for a few minutes, and then I'll come back, stick it together, and we'll do the final finishing touches on our JeroniMoney Wallet. Be back. All right, the glue has set and it's pretty dry. So I'm ready to go ahead and get my option C card slots attached to my exterior. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to match up the edges on this side, just like I did with the other. So I'm just matching up these edges here, okay, just like that, and then making sure that this is pressed down in the center. And we'll give it a good roll out here. Okay. Making sure, let me move my zipper over here. Get it nice and smooth out. Okay. And wow, look at that. Look at how thin this wallet is. I mean, who could have a wallet with 14 card slots and it be this thin and slim, right? I mean, that's so good, right? Okay, so now we need to trim down. We're going to trim down these sides before we get to stitching anything else. So we're going to trim down 1/4 inch on each side. So I'm going to use my rotary cutter. I'm going to grab my bigger ruler. I think I have it over here. Did I place it over here? Yes, here it is. Okay. So I'm going to really, hopefully I can do this here and not at my cutting table. So I'm going to just line it up at the 1/4 inch mark. I'm going to hold it down really firm. Okay, make sure it doesn't shift. And I'm just going to trim down. This is why we put a 1/2 inch of glue on the sides, to make sure that when we trimmed off this 1/4 inch, we still have enough glue there holding everything in place, okay? So we have that trimmed off. Now we just need to do the other side. So 1/4 inch, get it good, hold it steady, even, press it down really good, hold it really tight. Make sure your blade is sharp enough too. And get a nice smooth cut. Alrighty. So now our wallet, we got everything ready. So now we're ready to top stitch around. Make sure the bottom edge is, everything is neat and clean. We're gonna get ready to top stitch. So I am going to back stitch at the beginning and end. So I'm just going to start here and I'm going to go all the way around. Now, if you need to switch to a zipper foot, you can do that. I am going to just use my regular foot and I think I will be okay. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to start right here at the top. close to the edge. And hopefully I won't have any problem. So let's give it a there you go. Hold on tight. Okay. Back stitch. And then just go. And if you need to change to a fresh needle on this part, do that. And a fresh bobbin. Okay. Okay, back to the top, and back stitch a little, and then there we go. All right, so just looking good, and no threads popping out. Hopefully. All right. So, and you see my little, I can put my beads there. Okay, so now we have a couple more stitches to do. Well, I do. Because I chose option A, I am going to stitch here. Okay, and then I chose option C, and I'm going to stitch here as well. So I need to put a stitch down on both of these. So I'm just going to go, I'm going to start right where the stitches start here, and I'm going to go across here, and I'll do that on both, and I am going to back stitch. Okay, so I just need to get a row of stitches there on both. I'm just folding it up a little because my zipper pull is kind of bulky. Okay. So I have that side. And then now I'm going to stitch this one. Alright. Thread sticking out there. Just touch up my threads here. All right, look at that. Look at that. So we fold it up and close it up. And there she goes. Now, one last thing to do is finishing off these edges. So if you want to leave it just the way it is, leave it the way it is. Again, toconol or edge painting. I am going, since I have this brown leather that's sandwiched in between my black leather, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to edge paint that black. So, and that's the final thing I need to do. And then I'm done with my JeroniMoney wallet. I love it. I'm going to fill it up with some cards so that you can see what it's looking like when it's full, and you'll still see how slim it is. So let me just go ahead and get the edge painting done and come back and I'll show you the final reveal. Hey now, my JeroniMoney is done. Now, I listened to Jasmine, and y'all tell me if you agree. But she told me not to edge paint because she said she liked the brown peeking through, and because it went with the brown in my leopard print here. So I listened to Jazzy and I left it, and I kind of like it too. So I just added some toconol onto the edges to smooth them out. And so actually that made it go a lot faster for me, and I'm not mad at that. So anyway, I'm going to open this up so that you can see. I added a bunch of cards. I filled up every card slot, and you still see how thin the wallet is looking, how it's not too bulky, right? So let's go ahead and open it up. And look at that. Look at that. It's still, I mean, so nice. I love this. And I got a little cash. I found a little cash in my wallet too. A few dollars. So got money, room for your bills. Okay. And it's just looking so nice. I love this wallet. So anyway, thank you so much for watching me sew this up today. I really appreciate it. I love all the wonderful comments everybody leaves me. And thank you. If you love it, like it, push that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and hit the bell for notifications because I'm coming to you on a regular. So thank you. Get the pattern. It's going to be in the link's going to be in the description. Again, this is the JeroniMoney by KC Original. And if you haven't already, she also has the Geronimo and the Geronimo. So this is a whole line where you can have a whole matching set. So get this pattern, make it up. Let me know what you like about it. And I'll see you next time at Sewful Creations.